Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing on this January the 29th, daily 2025 cryptocurrency, XRP, blockchain technology, video J. Remember to become members of Jabroni Killer for the cheapest and best value in the video description below. Also, just below that, you can use my links for Robinhood and Coinbase to trade all your favorite cryptocurrency coins. And share it, like it, comment below to help support the channel, JE. And this is going to be an altcoin update. And we're going to start with the altcoins. With some of the coins that people wanted. We had an Iota shout out. One of our commenters asked about Iota, and Iota right now is still down in this red trading zone. And if we go into the daily time frame with Iota, we can see Iota is another one of these coins. Get it into the full screen. It's in this red resistance box, but you can see now we went from 32.5 cents in the 50-day down to 32.04. The 100-day is sitting parallel at 28 cents, and the 200-day slightly went up at 24 cents. But that could be an indication that the bearish sentiment is taken over in Iota. And what you're looking at Iota in the short term, if we can bounce off of this 100-day moving average, you can make a run back to the 200-day moving average or the 50-day moving average in red there in the daily time frame. And then you would want to see it bust above that, hold that support, and make a run up near this 37 cents, or else you're going to make a little bit of a run up off the 100 into the 50-day and then get rejected, and then you could pull a classic hook nose Jew bearish reversal pattern where you come back down to the 200-day moving average. So that's the two things I'm looking at with Iota right now. Iota's in this red resistance box, and it's in the middle of this resistance box. And now the moving average are starting to slowly trend and turn instead of been on this massive uptrend for 3 months. The 50-day and the daily time frame is actually starting to turn down, which could be some bearish sentiment. But we're going to watch out to see if Iota it can bounce off of that moving average. What is this other coin that my lovely subscriber asked about? I forget. He asked about Iota. Where's he at? He's somewhere right over here. I just read his comment. And of course, now we won't be able to find him. I know Iota was one of them, so we got that for you, my good man. I wish I could find his other one. I don't know what happened to it. Sometimes they just disappear on me. I don't know what to tell you. It was right here somewhere. Keep up the good work. Velo, we'll talk about in this. It's not him. Hey, there we are. Smack 2649. Cardano was the other one. So let's do Cardano. Well, let's get Velo since it's right here. Velo, we've been telling you, and we had some questions if I knew what I was talking about. We told you we're in this rising wedge. And the rising wedge is you have this very wide at the beginning, uptrending, lower support into this duck's beak at the end, and uptrending upper resistance, and it's very wide trading when it starts. See that wide trading from support and resistance, and then it narrows and squeezes itself like a snake before it's got to break up or break down. But a rising wedge is a bullish pattern in the short term, but when the pattern breaks about a 6.5 or 7 out of 10 times, they break to the downside. And we started talking about this when it was back up into here, when it was all the way up here, and then we broke down, and we were saying if it didn't hold that 0.0298 level and we broke back into this formation, we could be breaking back down for another run at major lower support that we haven't hit since November of 24, right before the election. And from that top we talked about, it's fallen now at current price 44.03% into the 200-day moving average. A few days ago it was down 50%. And even these moving averages now in the 50 are starting to trend down, which is a bearish canary in the coal mine that we're watching out for. And if you want to try to get bullish in the short term and make a nice return rally after this 50% correction, you hold the 200-day and then start to trade back up and breach these moving averages and try to make another retest at that 2 cents. If not, your next move is going to be some trading and then we're going to come down to major lower support, and then that might be a big buy signal, as if we did come all the way back down here, that'd be about a 65% dump. That might be a catalyst to have a nice return rally from down there, because that would be from the swing high. If it did come down here, a 62.45% correction, and then where the buyers should be stacked up, you could have a nice 105% return rally from there. So that's a level I'm going to be paying attention to in the short term. And if we go to Cardano, which my Cardano is over here in the Robinhood, because these are all links, the coins you can trade on Robinhood. Let's go look at Cardano. Cardano had a very, very big bullish run, just like all the other coins did during the post-election Trump hysteria. But now we've actually traded down into the moving averages in Cardano, and we're going to put our price notes on there. The 50-day moving average is sitting at, make that red, is sitting at 94 cents. We're going to clone, and then we're going to clone. The 100-day moving average, we'll make that blue, is sitting at 85 cents, and the 200-day moving average is sitting there at about, oops, at about 72 cents. And what we've hit here recently is a resistance area, right? We'll put the weekly time frame on, and you can see why it's a resistance area. Just go back to some of these prior pumps back in 2018. We got heavily resisted there. We had heavy resistance here, support here, resistance here, support down in there, all the way right about there. So if we draw this box right in there, you can see this. We don't use this color that often. Lock. You can see where we hit support and resistance. We hit resistance right there. We had support, resistance at the top of the box, some support right there. That's a logical support and resistance area. And that's why we did get chopped down right at the top of this support resistance box. So this is a major area that you have to trade out of. But right now, with the volume, even in this pump, really wasn't that impressive, and it's trading down. If you break below what is the 100-day moving average here in blue in the daily time frame, but we're in the weekly right there. If you go back into the 4-hourly, if you break this, make sure we have enough battery. Ooh, we need to get our charger. We don't want this to die on us while we're doing this. But if you break what you're threatening to break, this support and resistance box right at the 100-day moving average in Cardano at 85 cents. A logical spot that you would fall down to would be the 200-day moving average, if not a little bit farther. So that's a key area that we want to hold. And what we wanted to do was go into the 4-hour time frame. That's a key area that you want to hold. And notice how many times you bounced off it. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, now 6 times. Now, one could look at that as there's a lot of buyers there, but what you got to remember is every time you test the wall and chip away some of the buyers into the market, the next time you come to that wall, it might just knock her down because it's gotten weak by taking body blow after body blow, and then you get the uppercut between the chin and the ear, and it knocks you out, and you have a big fall. And your first area of major support would be the 200-day moving average down there in green in the daily time frame. So that's something that we're watching out for in Cardano. If we go look at Shiba Inu for co-creative music, we've had a big breakdown on here. And just like here, if we go into the daily time frame to find the moving averages in the daily time frame are getting extremely bearish by we're about to have a cross for the first time in a long time since the November election. We're going to clone that, where you have the 200-day or the 100-day, and you have the 50-day is about to cross. The shorter term moving average is about to cross the medium term moving average, or the 100-day in blue there, and that's bearish. And then you have the 200-day moving average. If we clone this, nope, we want to clone that. We're asking to clone. Thank you. The I think we cloned this green. Yeah, we don't want to mess with it. We did clone the green, I'm pretty sure. The 200-day moving average. Yeah, let's just see what happens. And we did clone that there too, I believe. There we go. That looks better. The 200-day moving average is even in this coin starting to trend down or bearish right there, down there, a point, a bunch of zeros, 2072. And you would want to hold above that, or we haven't held above it. We've broken way below it, and that's why you did have a big fall here in Shiba Inu. And now we're trying to get supported by some of this underneath support that's down here, right into this boxed area where we had some trading. But if we can't hold that, we could be looking at a collapse all the way down to 5 zeros, 4 zeros, 1329, and that's what we're looking at here in Shiba Inu. The bearish sentiment has taken over. We're going to need to go back into our other chart to look at some of these other altcoins that people love so much. Monero, we're going to take a look at that as this subscriber was asking about Monero. Monero in the daily time frame has a major resistance. That ain't Monero, is it? Monero's not that cheap. Axion, my mistake. This was Axion, the one that had about a 25x return in about 2 weeks. And we have a major resistance level up here at 0.06340. And if we go to the weekly time frame, scroll out, that's almost the all-time high. And then if we put the VP volume indicator, the fixed volume profile, I don't know why I always call it the VP, you can see where we had some trading. The mean of the coin is down at the bottom of the chart where most of the trading's taking place. Let's get our JE. You can see we had some right here, how we have a little bit of a uptick in candles right up in there. And then we'll scroll across into there. This is a major resistance box. Get that down to about right there. We're going to lock that, and we'll make this, we'll make that a light red. And then we're going to lock it in there. Oops, get over it. I think it's already locked. Is that locked in? It is locked in. That's a major resistance box, and you can see that's where we've been getting resisted. And then if you look at, you had another gap in between there, and then you had another little cluster of candles that stick out like a sore thumb. You notice how it drops off into the main, but you had another little bit of trading take place right in there. That's a major support level. So we're going to lock that, and we're going to make this a light purple. And then we're going to go back into the daily time frame, and you can see we're trying to get some brief support now, and the volume is still steadily declining now. The mean of the volume is now leveled off, so that's very interesting. And if we take a look at some of the moving averages, we have the 100-day moving average in blue right there. If we clone that and clone that, and we take one of these and we go down into the 200-day, it's sitting down there at 0.00467, and the 50-day is sitting there at, in red, at, nope, I said red, is sitting there at 0.0129. And what I'd be looking at here is you need to get back above this major, oops, that's not what we want to clone. I want to clone that. You need to get back above and retest and hold it this time at the top part of this red trading box of the fixed volume profile, where there's a cluster of support and resistance, and that's a spot you need to get above. And you got close to here again, and unfortunately or hopefully this isn't a hidden head and shoulders topping reversal pattern where you have a left shoulder, a head, a right shoulder, and then you got your sort of slanted neckline. And we're going to make that smaller, and we're going to lock that because, oops, no, we don't want to clone that. We want to lock this. Because if that is a topping out reversal pattern right there, we'll make that a little bit better. Yes, we want to delete that. Your left shoulder, your head, your right shoulder, and then you got a slanted neckline right there. And then we're going to lock that. A point of a breakout after a 25 to 30x move would be from the top of the head to the slanted neckline. And you can see support on the neckline, support on the neckline, support on the neckline the point of a breakout would get you all the way down there into the top quarter of the next support and resistance box at 0.01187. And that's something that we're going to pay attention to, because that could be what we're seeing here, a head and shoulders topping reversal pattern, if the bearish sentiment continues. So we're going to pay attention for that. SCX Monero here is trying to break out to the upside with just the opposite. We're going to go into the daily time frame to look at Monero. We've had a nice pump. We're at nearly a double top here, but it's facing the opposite way, where you could say that you had a pump and you got sort of a cup there and a handle, and your targeted move, if that was to be the case, would be from the bottom of the cup, the mean of the cup, to the neckline right there, the point of a breakout. That would get you up near the $272. But if you break down, you're more than likely going to come near this 200-day moving average, or the $169. So that's something we're going to watch out for in Monero. VTH was another one that had a phenomenal pump that we were looking at, that one of my Jabroni Killer members asked about, when it was back up in here after it wicked off top. And I said, I don't know a lot about this coin, but what made me nervous is you had in a matter of a couple of days, you had a 400% move, but you did it all with two daily candle bodies, two pumps in the daily candles. And then right after that, we've had dead volume, and it's all been sell volume. So that led me to believe that we could have some kind of a sell off. If we can get an uptick in volume soon, you could pump back up for a double top, or when this volume starts to trickle back up, it's going to be some sell volume and some profit taking, and you might be coming back to retest the 50-day moving average. And that's something that we have to watch out for. I don't know anything about this coin. Uh, so that's what I'm looking at here, because you could have a steady sell off like you had right here after that last pump. Then the volume died, and you had just a slow consolidation and an orderly sell off before a spike and a spike. So that's what we're watching out for here in VTH. LCX has been in what could be a bull flag, and it's attempting to break out of it. But every time it does, you can see with these wicks, it gets chopped down near the top part of this uh, orange resistance box that's up there at about 30 cents. And right now we're still stuck in between the 100-day moving average at 22 cents. We're squeezed in between it, and it's in a beautiful consolidation zone, because the 50-day is running parallel right above it, and the 200-day is running slightly below the bottom part of this red resistance box, right at a back test of support of this falling wedge right there at about 20 cents. So that's what we're looking at there. And you can see the falling wedge is where, again, we have a wide base, and then it's got descending upper resistance and descending lower support, and it gets tighter at the bottom than it is where it started. And we've attempted to break out of this right here, but we haven't been able to confirm it and jump up near the top part of this orange resistance box up there at about 30 cents. So you want to hold the 200-day moving average on the downside, which would be a back test of this pattern from where you broke out. And if you came down and touched that and held it, that would be a very bullish confirmation of a breakout. But if you breach that, and the 200-day moving average, or that retest of the pattern, you could come back down to the 14 cents, right? And that's something that we have to watch out for. DIA, what looks to be playing out here, is the head and shoulders topping reversal pattern that we've been watching. And if that is to be the case with the head and shoulders, we're coming down to this 38 cents, and that's something that we're watching. But it's still within a secondary pattern that we're watching, which is a falling wedge, descending upper resistance, descending lower support. And it could be a bull flag, because this would be your flagpole, and these are the two patterns we're watching out for in DIA. That could have been your flagpole. This is your flag. And then the point of a breakout would actually be a phenomenal breakout, because that would be all the way up there at $3.21 after it peaked out at $1.36. But unfortunately, if this is a head and shoulders topping reversal, the top out would have just been the top of the head. And the breakdown, it's a wide range, but we have to see what pattern breaks. And if it breaks this 50 cents or breaches this descending line in this descending wedge, it would break the flag, and then that would confirm that it's a head and shoulders, and we're coming down to the 38 cents. Like, subscribe, and share to all of my beautiful, lovely, glowing audience members. Peace and love.